Welcome back on the channel, everyone. I have been trying to find a strategy to generate substantial amounts of yield with, I wouldn't call it low risk coins, but I would call it a low risk strategy because we don't need all that much liquidity deployed in order to generate a substantial amount of returns. So the thing with blue chip asset pools is that if you want to farm them in a safer way, you gotta go with wide ranges. And then you have to have patience, keep compounding and keep depositing into the pool so that you can, in the long run, see your pool capital grow not only in size but also in value. In the next bull run, a couple $1,000s worth of deposits into the pool will pay back probably not tenfold, but easily double what it is now and beyond that. So as an alternative, I'm trying to find not these new coins that have been launched hours ago or days ago, weeks ago, something that has been around for months and it has still a lot of volume in it. If you find enough of these tokens, well, this is a newer one, so it doesn't really meet the criteria, but all the others do. Bula has been trending for the past few days, has 4 digits APR with a very wide range. The same thing for BNB XBT, although this one tends to go lower than 4 digits APR, but still we are on the high end triple digits APR. Right now it's almost been at around roughly 24 hours since the last time that I claimed all of these fees, and you can see very small position wise, we're talking about less than $50, generated almost $1. So this is yielding on average more than 2% a day, and this one actually is at the low. I'm very close to my downside range. I'm 21% from meeting that downside range fully, and I started with a $15 deposit at 50-50 range, 50 on the upside, 50 on the downside. It still didn't stop me from yielding 4 digits APR. In the earlier days it was even 5 digits APR. It is still yielding quite a lot in fees, but it was yielding even more. I was yielding over $1 in a day or so, but I kept compounding into the position. Now, of course, compounding, it's up to you, to your own strategy. The point here is that even with smaller bags, you can go with wider ranges to account for market volatility and give you time to react to that same volatility. For example, if a price of the token drops too much, a wide range gives you more time to react versus a tighter range, because with a tighter range, you'll go on a loss out of range and not generating fees all that much. I showed you that in my past video about USDT and Bula. Even with a 30% drop from the point I opened the position, I was virtually breaking even, but at some point the price will find a new support level because these are tokens that have been running for a while. Bula has been running for months. Now, right now, the market, it's not all that good looking, but you can still find these pools. For example, here it is, Bula, right? The pair was created 10 months ago. So you can see that from the chart still, we're pretty much at the bottom right now. If I zoom out all the way through, we're out at the bottom. I mean, I don't even know how much percent we are down from there, but it's lower risk to just buy at the bottom than buy at the top or at the middle of the chart, right? So right now, the way the market is, low volume, low activity, I thought it was a good point in time to just catch this wave because it was rallying up. Sometimes these rallies don't last all that long, but once we're talking about something like such a meme that has been surviving for several months, at least 6 months old, it tends to be, I don't like to call it safe because there's no such thing as safe in crypto, especially with meme coins, but it's going to be a better entry than otherwise. For example, yesterday this position was worth $7. Right now, if I compound all of these fees back into it, it pretty much breaks even. And I'm still at the profit from the moment that I deployed my initial liquidity. And these are just 3 pools, 3 examples, but you can find examples like this in different blockchains. You can actually see here, both of these pairs are on the BNB chain. This one is on Base. There's going to be other examples on Solana. The meme coins that I like, they have a lot of liquidity and really low volume. For example, Pengu. Pengu is pretty much at the bottom, as most of these older memes are. It is a token that has been running for over a year. It is somewhat of a flagship meme on Solana. For example, with Cast, which is a crypto card, they even recently launched the Pengu card. You can find the link for that below in the description. It's my affiliate link. Actually, let me show you here on their Twitter profiles. You see, they have a partnership with Pango. The same thing as Bonk. Bonk is also, we can call it a flagship meme on Solana because there's a lot more to it than just a meme. It's a whole ecosystem, but you get the idea, right? These companies which are reputable, they're reliable, they're making up partnerships with memes on Solana, right? So these memes, they will bounce back in a future bull run, even with all the novelty memes that will show up and will exist still on Solana. These are flagship memes. They might not hit, once again, all-time highs, but they will have a comeback. And it's better to farm it at the bottom and experience that comeback afterwards, even if it doesn't go to all-time high, then just keep on risking on memes that are hours old and might rug. But let me not get too much sidetracked. So you see, there's a lot of liquidity, 2.4 mil, and the volume is really, really low. You will not yield anything crazy right now, but if you start farming this right now, eventually there will be these spikes that go up 100%, or this one is 50%. And that's when it gets exciting, of course, but right now it's boring. And when that is the case, that's when we gotta go in the trenches, dig in, and find these opportunities. Pango is just one example. There's others, like I was mentioning, Bonk. Bonk is also one that has been around on Solana for a number of months, almost 2 years old, at least the liquidity pool. I'm not sure about the token, but you see what I mean, right? Dog with hat is another one. So this one has been chopping sideways for a long time, since the beginning of the year. And again, liquidity, actually this one is better to yield farm right now. Volume is higher than the liquidity. It's not yielding crazy, like I said. The sweet spot is when the volume is double than the liquidity or more. The more the better, right? I like to go with at least 1-to-1. If it's like this, for me it's already good enough to start yield farming it. Now, these, in my opinion, although they are memes, they are going to be around for a while. And even if the price drops, they will have a comeback. Once again, they might not hit all-time highs or anything like such, but they will have a comeback. And if they have a whole ecosystem of utility around it, like Bonk has and Pango seems to be building, they tend to be good opportunities, I believe. Another one is with Dog with Hat. So yeah, here it is. All right, so this pool is not the best example. It's pretty much dead, no volume. But I'm pretty sure this one will still have some interesting pools. Okay, so here we go. This one is looking a bit better. Volume pretty much on par with the liquidity. Not all that bad. It's better to yield farm these pools than this with deeper liquidity and much lower volume. The sweet spot here is volume to liquidity ratio. Optimally, you want to see double or triple the volume to liquidity. And of course, the pool fit here also does play a role. So let me go on Orca to see how much this pool fit here is and all, because that also plays a role in how profitable the liquidity pool can be. Okay, so this is the pool we were taking a look at, 0.04% fit here. Not the best, but still interesting enough to get started, I would say. In any case, all of these memes that I'm showing you, they are not yielding as much as this pool. This is another thing. You have to find a pool which is performing above average. Like this pool is performing above average. There are other pools that you will find, but they will not perform with these insane APRs, okay? So have that in mind as well. But again, I'm just sharing ideas and opportunities that do exist every single day in DeFi, in crypto, and even with a small bag, if you have patience, you can grow it every single day. 50 cents, $1, you can compound back into your pools or find newer ones that you want to test out. For example, another one that has been doing really well for yield farming is Siren on the BNB chain. This one is a meme. It has been around for a while, recently had this insane volatility, but it's over a year old pool. There's 8 million in liquidity and the volume right now it's 2.7, so not the optimal point in time to yield farm on today, but tomorrow it might change. And there are other tokens. I just showed you a handful of them in this video, but if you are willing to try to yield farm, start with these ones, memes that have been around for a while, at least 6 months old, I would say. If they're at the bottom, go ahead and farm them. Go with the wide range. It pretty much depends at the chart. You got to look at the chart and all and set the range according to your liking. But sometimes I would go, like in the case of Bula, I went with a 10-80, 10 on the upside, 80 on the downside, something like that. And the deeper your downside is, you will notice that even if the token takes a big hit, your liquidity will not drop substantially, and hopefully the fees that dip generated will be enough at least to break even. But the whole idea is to pick up these well-known memes. And by the way, another example just occurred to me, Fartcoin. Fartcoin is a big one. I've been yield farming this since last year. And I think right now it's much less risky to yield farm a pool like this, Fartcoin with the stable, than it was back then, because I yield farmed Fartcoin at around this range here. I was yield farming at the top, and I looked at the chart and I knew that. So if you have a lot of capital deployed, it can be a bit nerve-wracking. I'm not gonna lie, if you have a couple $1,000s into a pool like this, it can be nerve-wracking. And potentially I could wake up to a substantial drop overnight of 20-30%. But yeah, right now it's much more reassuring to me knowing that we are at the bottom, and it's still a really good yielding pool. Look at this, $500,000 liquidity, 1.4 volume, Fartcoin USDC on Meteora. In my opinion, this is a great pool to give it a shot. Actually, let's go on Meteora. We have the pool here, $500,000 in TVL. This is the one, yielding 0.75% a day, this pool. So really good stuff here. But yeah, even with a small bag, you can start small. If this is the first time you're doing this, don't go with hundreds or thousands of dollars. Start small, go with wide ranges, even with these tokens. Learn from it, get experienced, and go from there. And even if you don't have thousands of dollars to start yield farming with blue chip assets, this is a way that if you have patience, you can also get some experience in the meanwhile and start farming something every day, compound back into the pools, or diversify, get exposure to different new pools. And over time, compounding 1%, 2% a day, even 0.5% a day will make a difference. After 1 month doing so, you will have roughly 20%, if not more, by doing this, because these volumes, these APRs will not be there every single day. There will be higher days, there will be lower days. So yeah, this is what I wanted to share with you guys on this one. Even when everyone says the market is done, there's no activity, there is opportunities in crypto every single day. Even in bear markets, even when the volume is low, you can find them and start growing your portfolio from there. If you have any questions, drop a comment, guys. This is what I wanted to share with you on this one. Hope you took value from the video. Take care, keep exploring crypto, and I'll see you in the next one.